conversations and have the board just listen. It's been a long time since our Board of Education has listened to this community. And by listen, I mean sit there and hear what they have to say, and take it down and take notes and go back and study it and come back a month later and tell the community what it is that they heard and how it is they're going to respond to those things. And I think it's vital. I think that this board has in many ways, and the district itself, alienated itself from the communities. And there are many communities here in Pinellas County that really need to be heard from, because, so it's critical. They should be listening, and they should be, as I said, open, accountable, responsive, and respectful.
Okay, this question again is open to all the candidates. You have 1 minute to answer this.
You can start, Bubba.
Yeah. 1 minute. What is the most important responsibility of a school board?
Most important part for a school board member, number one, would be fiscal responsibility. Making sure that the tail is not wagging the dog, mostly. It was asked earlier, what is the responsibility of a school board member? And it is to come up with the policies and have the superintendent of schools follow those policies. But mostly it's about fiscal responsibility, bringing up making sure that all of our students get a quality education. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who would go next? John? Yeah. John? We're going to go all around. Same question, John?
Could you repeat the question, please? It was a brief one.
What is the most important responsibility of a school board?
From my experience is to make sure that every child has an opportunity to get an education and be successful in life. Many schools in this county, they're cheating the students. It's been talked about before about with parents. It's the old expression, if they don't come to you, then we go to them. Whether it's home visits, whatever it takes to get these kids educated. Because it's the old ad, we either pay for it now or we pay for it later. And we need to use all our tax dollars that we have now to improve the children's education.
I think the most important thing that the board should do is set the vision of the district and assure that every program, every thought, word, action, and the budget is focused on attaining that vision of doing what's best for the kids, optimally preparing our kids for their future. It's the most important thing is to focus on the kids and make sure everything else is aligned to them.
One word, fiduciary. We are responsible to make sure that every dollar that comes into the school system is spent in the best way possible. I don't think we're currently doing that. But the school board, first and foremost, is a fiduciary. We are here to serve you and make sure that every single dollar coming into the system is spent in the best way possible to meet our singular focus, which is to educate every child.
I think about the school board as being in charge of, you can think about it as a business, and the widgets we are making are educated children. And I think the most important role for the school board member is to ensure efficiently, this is not about spending too much money, and carefully, but ensure that every child that goes through the public education system receives an education and is educated, not just tested.
Is this mine or yours? 15. Kim's. 15. Beverly.
Okay, Beverly. What are your expectations of the superintendent?
My expectations of the superintendent is to follow and implement the policies given by the school board. As I said earlier, it's not the tail that wagging the dog. We need to give him the direction I sat in a school board meeting not too long ago, and the problem is there was a lot of rubber stamping going on, like a lot of, oh yeah. And that's, I sat on the board as mayor, and we have a lot of challenges and a lot of questions. It's similar. We had a city manager, and they take the direction, and if they don't follow the direction of the board, then it's time to say that we replace that person. I'm not saying that Dr. Grego is not doing a good job, but that's where we hold those answers, and we need to ask questions and challenge him. So he challenged further down, and I don't believe in micromanaging. Who's next?
John Nygren. This question is for you. John is from District 4. What am I? 16. Okay. 2 minutes. Do you think the influx of illegal alien children will impact the job of the school board or of our schools?
Yes. You want next?
If you'd like to expound on that, please do.
Right now, in the state of Florida, the average per pupil expenditure is $7,000 per pupil. Obviously, if we have more people with less tax dollars, that amount per pupil is going to go down. Now, in the same state of Florida, we spend over $17,000 per inmate. I think there's something wrong there, at least in my mind. I don't know what it is, but there's something wrong. So yes, this is going to have a big impact on many, many fronts. But again, we have large enough classes now. This is just going to make classes even bigger. And I see every day there are some states, the governors are refusing now to take even some who said originally they would. Now they're saying no, because they know the financial impact on the entire state, not just a small group, not a small area.
Thank you. Ken.
Okay, this question is for Ken Peluso, District 4. You have 1 minute. It may be required of you to sit on other boards like the Planning Commission for land use. Do you believe you should sit on boards that people did not elect you to sit on?
Well, I believe we have to follow the law, and if it is the law that as a school board member you have to sit on other boards, then I believe in following the law. Regarding that specific board that you mentioned, I mean, I have a fair amount of experience in the community outside of education, so I feel I would have something to offer, but even if I didn't, if I'm required by law to sit on a board, then I'm going to sit on it.
Okay. That was the last question, so I would like Tony to fill in.
Beverly was going to answer the question on the LGBT.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go this way then, okay? Would you like to answer or expand on a question that you answered or was answered by another candidate? I will start with you, Beverly. Would you like the question repeated?
Yeah, but okay.
She wants
I had something I wanted to expound on that was said, but...
That would be fine.
do that
This is your opportunity.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Go ahead. We'll start with you, and then everyone will have a chance to also do the same.
When the question was asked about the Pinellas Planning Council, should the school board sit on that board? I was president of Pinellas Planning Council. Linda Lerner served on that board with us. I do believe that their input is important. She always had, and it's not mandated that the school board be on there, but it is offered to people to serve on that board from different cities. They can opt out of it. There's no state mandate that you have to attend it. But I will tell you, whether it was Linda Lerner, and I think there's somebody else doing it now, it's very important because the Pinellas Planning Council makes huge amount of decisions that impact a whole community. And the school board's input, or her going back to the school board, letting the school board know of the development that's happening that can impact a school, or a need of a new school. So it was very, very important.
Thank you.
Do you want me to answer that other question? I'm not real sure if I have the right answer. I mean,
what's the question again?
Yeah, the LB.
We'll give everybody 2 questions to answer if they would like.
What is your opinion on the county ordinance for the LGBT group established in coordination with the Human Rights Department on gender identity and its influence on students?
Okay. I did talk to someone, a school board member, about this a little while back. To me, it's not a black and white issue. It's not cut and dry. There is a lot of sensitivity to it. For those who are not really familiar about it, I believe it's about the gender use of bathrooms, transgenders' rights. And it's a vote that's a policy that's to be put in place, but it only affects about 1%. I have a problem when we start making new laws for 1% of a population. I think it should be held, if there is an issue or a circumstance at a school, it should be a school-based decision and handled with a sensitivity, as each transgender are in their journey at different places, so it won't, cut across the board will not work. They need to make those decisions at a school base.
Thank you. Okay, who will go in? Beverly. Okay, John. John, do you have a question you'd like to expand on or answer to someone else's question?
Yes, but also expound on something else I haven't mentioned yet.
You're very welcome to.
Oh. One of the questions dealt with the superintendent, and this is from the Times. The comment, which to me disturbs me, is that he was questioned about the elimination of the principal and 17 teachers at Dunedin Elementary School, and then when the reporter kept questioning him, his response was, "The day that I have to justify every blasted move in our district, you can take over if you like." My response, this may be a Massachusetts thing, but the comment to that is, please don't let the door hit you on your way out. The other thing I'd like to talk about is that if you can vision yourself, August 18th is the first day of school. If you could go to a low-end elementary school, one who's not performing very well, sit in your car and watch the little innocent 5- to 6-year-olds go into the school building and realize that at least 1 out of 3 of them will not graduate from high school. I think we can do better than that. Now, unfortunately, the incumbents are not here. I think I forgot my rosy glasses, because it seems like everything's okay. Everything's fine. Doing a good job. I personally don't think so. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I would like.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would like to follow up on something I believe Chris mentioned, that being what was stated at Tiger Bay today. The question was, do you believe that creationism should be taught in our schools? If so, should it be in a science class? And my response was pretty much verbatim. I don't care what classroom it is. I think that creationism and evolution should be taught side by side, should be introduced to our students so they can get the facts, and then they can draw their own conclusion. And I stand by that decision. Yes, I was the only one who said creationism should be introduced to our students in school. That's it.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to follow up on other than Common Core. It's here to stay. I don't think unless we get up and pound the ground and get the legislature to change direction, Common Core is here to stay. I don't care whether they call it Florida State Standards, Next Generation State Standards, which started back in 2010, which was based on Common Core. It's here to stay. The only thing that we can do as school board members is be vigilant. We can only be your voice at the board table. We can only be your voice to the administration and make sure that what comes into the classroom is what we expect to come into the classroom. And I applaud Ken for standing up today and saying yes. The question for me was more of a philosophical question. I believe in God, I believe in the Bible. I just don't think it should be taught in the science classroom. I think it should be taught at home. Thank you.
I guess I want to follow up on a couple of things. One, legally speaking, the school board has 4 basic legal obligations. One is to vote on and pass the budget. 2 is to create and fulfill the strategic plan. 3 is to hire and fire the superintendent, and 4 is to hire and fire the attorney for the school board. Those are the 4 basically legal roles that the school board has. However, the school board plays another role, which is that we are the public face and the community face of our public schools. We can go to Tallahassee and lobby, we can go to Washington, D.C. and lobby, and this is why it's so critical that we have an open dialogue with our communities, so that when we go and do those things, we can do it on behalf of the communities that have elected us. I'm running countywide, so I will have been elected by the whole county, and it'll be my obligation to stand for the whole county. The second thing that I wanted to follow up on is the new superintendent. I think that Dr. Grego is a very intelligent man. I think he's come from a large school system over in Hillsborough, and he understands the macro picture of the schools. But I think, as we've seen in the Dunedin case, and as we're beginning to see what's happened here, is Dr. Grego has come in and taken over a school board and has been directing them. And if you go to the workshops or you watch the videos of what's going on, Dr. Grego is running that school board, not the reverse. And I think it's time that we get some powerful, strong, visionary voices on the school board who will direct Dr. Grego. I think he can do well, but I think the reason he gets so arrogant is he's come in here and been able to do whatever he wants to, and that needs to come to an end.
Does anybody need a break before we continue? Everybody's good? All right, this time we're going to open up for questions from the floor. All right, who's got questions?